Okay, just right off of the bat before we get into this video, I'm going to raise some eyebrows. Now, there's a lot of gloom and doom around the social media, around the Vancouver Canucks. I always keep an eye on their subreddit, and everybody's online, like gloom and doom. Oh, we're missing the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. But I'm gonna get to that in this video. Now, the main reason I wanted to talk about the Canucks today is, their recent game and some relative injury issues that are starting to pop up here. Now, Lankinen has allowed 14 goals in his last 3 games, including a disastrous performance against the New York Rangers that saw him concede 4 goals in 11 shots and a 5-3 loss. Now, a lot of people around Kevin Lankinen have been wondering today, well, what's going on with this guy? Again, I always say it, I'll say this again, I am not a huge fan of signing goalies to big long-term contracts unless they're like solidified goalies. I was a little questionable when the Canucks actually did re-sign Kevin Lankinen, and this is no different. And now we did get information if you guys are keeping an eye on X or Twitter. I hate social media for the most part, but it's useful for hockey information. And there was a Twitter user that said, no, Lankinen wasn't just sick, not sure what's been reported, but he has a quote, mid-body injury. So the first report was that Lankinen was just sick. But now we got Rick Dillawall. I always screw his name up. Now he's saying that he has a hip issue. Like, this is gross. This is absolutely gross from the Canucks' point of view. Now, obviously, we don't know how serious the hip issue is. He's only 29. He doesn't have a history of being a big-time injured goalie. But again, we got to be careful here. Now, he's obviously playing through it, but it is what it is. The article continues. Lankinen was said to be dealing with the flu after the aforementioned loss, and while he did miss 2 games, he continued. Struggles are apparently not related to that. Overall, Lankinen has stopped 64 of the 78 shots that he's faced, which comes out of 821 gross save percentage across 3 games. So again, I'm going to say this just one more time. If you guys are getting annoyed with this, this is why you just don't sign goalies. Like I don't mind like Kevin Lankinen. I just don't like him on a big contract. This is what's kind of making me nervous about Lankinen in general. Now, the article continues. According to Money Puck, Lankinen has allowed 5.8 goals more than expected. So expected goals is a good data point to look at in his last 10 games, which ranks him 61st out of 72 goalies who have played at least 10 games this season. As a result, the former undrafted goalie has dropped all the way down to an .899 save percentage this season, which is now approaching the lowest mark of his career. Because I do not believe that Kevin Lankinen, and this is actually something that I was actually talking earlier about Kevin Lankinen, is they never had below a 900 save percentage average in the NHL. Now, here's the thing. One goalie that I like to keep an eye on, or former goalies, Noodles, he's on overdrive in Toronto, and he actually always makes a lot of fair points about goaltenders, where goalies perform as good as how much they play. And we're even seeing this in Toronto now, too, where Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz are clearly tired, right? None of these guys have even played nearly this many games. So they're good, but like as you keep on playing games, it puts more and more stress on your body, and then your consistency will go down. That's just how it is. And I think that Kevin Lankinen is no different. It's very interesting, though, that old school goalies were essentially built like milk bags, but they just could play like 70 games, like Brodeur or something like that. It's really weird the way guys these days, and they're a lot more physically fit, they just can't hold up to the stresses of the NHL, because every shot you take, you drop down to the butterfly, you get back up. It's very, very stressful on your body, and especially your hips. Now, keep this in mind that Lankinen has an .880 save percentage overall since signing the lucrative 5-year, $22.5 million extension that ties him down until 2030. Yeesh. Again, I don't want to harp on this too much. Not that it's all Lankinen's fault, but we really, really, really got to stop signing goalies to huge contracts unless they are solidified stars. Like, I'm talking, you know, you know, guys that are like Vasilevsky type goalies. You understand what I mean? Hellebuck. I think Hellebuck is an unbelievable. He's one of the rare goalies that I would sign long term. Other than that, man, who cares? Just let players walk. I don't understand why they're so unlikely to let players walk. Whatever. So hip injuries for NHL goalies can be chronic for sometimes career-altering if not treated promptly and effectively. Given Demko's 6 of the last 9 games, for example, could be a reasonable split if the Canucks find they need carefully manage Lankinen's injury. So, whatever. Hopefully he's good. Now, obviously, as I touched on earlier in this video, I wanted to also talk about the Vancouver Canucks, and a lot of people are kind of freaking out around the Canucks, like I've said on Reddit. I think it's time to calm down. I've been consistent on this. I think that the Vancouver Canucks are going to make the NHL playoffs. Now, keep this in mind. They are in 4th in the Pacific Division. They have 81 points in 73 games. Now, the Calgary Flames have 79 points. Now, they have 71 games played. Now, we have to realize, though, that the Calgary Flames are terrible. The Leafs played the Calgary Flames recently, and they were just awful. The Calgary Flames, they're so bad. The only reason they're even slightly good is because of, their goalie Wolf is pretty good. So I think in points percentage, technically the Flames are above the Canucks because you got to look by points percentage per game. That's the best way to look at this data. But I think Canucks fans need to calm down here. They have, a decent, they have, I believe, 8 games left. I still think that the Canucks are going to make the playoffs. But you can drop it below. That's the question of the video. Do you think the Canucks are going to make the playoffs? Anyways, I'm going to leave this video here. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.